This game was set up to be one of the best games of the week. The San Diego Fleet coming off of a big win, and San Antonio just narrowly losing to one of the best teams in the league in Orlando. So I think we were all expecting a very good matchup. However, it kind of ended up becoming one-sided. The Fleet played good football for the majority of this game, and here was one of the first very good plays that they made. As you see, it's a goal line situation, and if you take a look, the Fleet are going to send a man in motion. So what San Antonio is going to do is actually have a defensive back switch coverage on this play. This means that right there, those two defenders are now currently talking about where they're going to be in position to stop a run, and now you're going to see a different defensive back cover the receiver than the one who was initially designed to cover that receiver. This now lets the Fleet know that it's man coverage, which is important as you see those two routes on the outside are both good routes to beat man coverage. Philip Nelson ends up making a perfect throw and it leads to a touchdown. That play put him on the board, but this next play was the real turning point in the game. It was actually a really well-disguised play by this San Diego Fleet defense. If you take a look at both defensive backs on the outside, they're going to be breaking downfield. And typically, since there already is two defensive backs deep, this would now mean that it's going to be a cover 4. However, if you take a look, one of those defensive backs is actually going to be breaking in, which is only going to create a cover 3. And now this is what the coverage looks like, meaning that the gaps in coverage downfield are going to be a little bit wider, and the gaps in coverage closer to the middle of the screen aren't going to be as wide. The real route to look at is the curl route right there. As you see, if it was a cover 3, that would be perfectly in the gap in coverage. However, since it's the cover 4, it's now somewhat in a zone. It's still not right in the middle of a zone, however, it still is in position that the linebacker in that area could go up to make a play. And now if you take another look, the linebacker who's in charge of guarding that zone has completely got himself turned around. Philip Nelson sees all of this and assumes it's going to be a cover 4, meaning that he could have a gap in coverage that could be wide open. However, take a look at AJ Tarpley here. As you see, he is currently in the middle of the field, but his assigned zone is actually a little bit to the bottom half of the screen. He's staying there at first just to help the disguise, but he's fully ready to break to that side of the screen. So the second Nelson does in fact throw it in that direction, he's able to jump the route, pick it off, and take it all the way into the end zone for a touchdown. It was a great play by Tarpley, but really it was a great play design as a whole. And that's what really led this team to sort of turn things around and turn on the Jets to really blow out San Antonio. This next play was another really interesting play call by San Diego, this time on the offensive side of the ball. On this play, they're going up against cover 2 man, but take a look at how far away that defensive back who's in charge of guarding that receiver is playing. I mean, he's playing very far back, and this gives that receiver plenty of room in front. It's kind of one of those things that I feel like us as fans are always screaming at the TV, wondering why teams don't do more often, especially when it's on the outside, when we say, hey listen, there's a defensive back playing 10 yards deep, just throw it quickly to that receiver. The reality is, a play like this basically becomes a running play, except the quarterback has to make a pinpoint accuracy pass. Because you can't just get the ball to the receiver in a play like this. You pretty much have to hit the receiver in stride, and it has to be a good enough pass that he can catch it and quickly put it away, as it essentially becomes a running play as soon as he gets the ball. However, this was a perfect pass and a good play call, and it was what led to a first down. This next play was another good play call by the San Diego Fleet. On this play, they're going to be going up against a cover 1 hole, and the receiver on the outside is going to be running a pretty standard out route, which would just clear that defensive back who's guarding him out of the way. And then take a look at the route that the slot receiver is running, as he's going to basically be running straight into a linebacker. This would now mean that the halfback who is getting covered by that linebacker is going to now break to the bottom half of the screen, and it would already just be a foot race, but now with that initial block, this could end up being a huge play for the Fleet. Of course, you can't actually block him downfield, that would be a penalty. However, he is still able to sort of just disrupt the typical route that linebacker would want to go to in getting to the halfback, and that's all the San Diego Fleet needed on this play. They were able to pretty simply pick up the first down, and honestly, things went pretty well for the Fleet ever since that pick 6 early in the second quarter. It's kind of crazy because we are still trying to figure out which teams are good and which teams aren't. However, I definitely think this Fleet team could be a team to look out for in the future.